Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me for another video. This is Marquita from At Home with Kita, and here I share tips on how to plan a balanced life. So if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. So today's video is going to be all about how I prepare my monthly planner. Monthly is the high level view of everything that I have going on, and there's a process for that, and I'm going to share with you exactly what that is and how I get things in order and how my calendar looks for the month. And then I'll show you how my first week of November. I can't believe we are already in November. So I'm going to break it all down for you in this video. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So all about the monthly. I feel like the monthly for me is where it starts. You know, that's my high level view. Of course, I do have at a glance pages too for the whole entire year, which I come and I just, jot some things in as they come up. I also do use my phone calendar, so that way I can get some reminders if needed. Monthly, I feel like is slept on. Like a lot of people, they're all about that weekly planning. When they show you their spreads, they typically show you the weekly. So I like to break it down and show you guys everything. You guys know here on this channel is all about planning and how to keep your life organized using a planner. So I'm going to show you guys my monthly and my whole thought process in terms of how I prepare for that. So first and foremost, I do have an inbox section. This is where I come and dump everything out. As I start to think about things, I come and I write it here. Sometimes there's a date tied to it, sometimes there's not. But I at least want to get it out of my head and onto paper, so that increases the likelihood of it getting done. So these are all of my inbox tasks. So when it comes to my monthly, I'm going to come here first and I'm going to look and see what I want to tackle for the month. Again, if it has a due date tied to it, then I'm going to go by the due date so I can add it to my monthly calendar. If it doesn't have a due date, then I'm going to pick a couple of things that I realistically can get done in the course of the month. Okay, so of course my inbox section is very important to me, so that's why it's in the front of my planner. All right, outside of that, again, I do have at a glance pages for the whole entire year. So I'll come here for November and I'll see exactly what I have going on, what I need to plan for the month. Okay, so as things come to mind or people ask me things that if we're available or if we want to do something, then I'm going to write it here first. So now that I think about it, and again, I do also use my monthly calendar because your girl needs that reminder. So I use both. So I'm going to go ahead and write in something that I just thought of. I'm supposed to be going out to dinner with some friends on the 15th. Or actually, oh my gosh, it is actually the 14th. The 15th is an important tennis match against our rivals, so I want to write that in too. Also, I feel like there's something else going on that I need to plan for. I don't write typically recurring things here. It's just literally, hey, what you doing on the 14th? You're available, you want to get together, things like that, or special events, outings, things like that. I'm going to write them there. So I'm not going to write like, my theocratic stuff, my ministry. I'm not going to write my meetings. I'm not even going to write tennis matches here, unless again it's an important one. I know the 15th is an important one. And so I want to definitely jog that in. So I'm just looking at my phone really quickly just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I usually try to come and write it in as it comes, becomes obvious that I'm going to do that particular task. Because if I wait to do it, then it might not get written in on here, and I need this because this is what I base my whole entire planner off of. So I'm doing a combo of both, and that's just what works for me. You don't have to do that. You can do all your phone, or you can do all a planner. This channel is all about paper planning. I just think it's so important to be able to write things. The act of physically writing things down has been proven to ensure that you execute things more efficiently versus doing it digitally. I'm just telling you what the science says. Okay, do with that information what you will. All right, so from what I can see, there's not really anything else going on that I need to write on here. So I'm going to, oh, there is actually on the 22nd, there's a party and I need to write that in. Okay, all right, so again, inbox tasks, I'm going to go there and look and see, hey, what do I want to tackle? And then this is the secondary place where I'm coming to look to see, hey, what do we have going on at a monthly level? All right, and then I'm going to come over to my monthly. As you can see, it's all written in. Don't you love it? Isn't it so pretty? Yes, we use stickers, we use washi tape, we use highlighter. I like to keep it simple for the most part. Y'all remember I used to load my every single week up with stickers, which, you know, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. It's just a matter of how I feel for that week. This particular week, I just decided to use some sticky notes, which I cut in half. These are our square transparent sticky notes. And then I use various stickers, and I like to keep consistency with how things look. So I went ahead and filled in every single thing, with the exception of the 2 things that I just wrote out. So I'm going to go ahead and write in dinner. Okay, which I just wrote. And then on the 22nd, that party that I just wrote in. All right. Otherwise, this is recurring things, and this is also things that are not recurring. Like you just saw those 2 events. Those aren't things that are going to happen every single week or every single month. They're just things that are just one-offs. And then as I start to, you know, more appointments start to come up, or more things that I need to do, or outings or parties, whatever they may be, I'll go ahead and write those in on the monthly. But I also do typically come back to the at a glance pages and go ahead and write them in. And then again, I'll use my phone as a reminder system. So every single week we're doing this. Every single, you know, all of this stuff is standard stuff that I do on a weekly basis. And I know it looks like a lot. It's not as much as it may look like it is. I also love to write my monthly tasks here on the side, like things that I want to make sure that I'm checking for on a monthly basis. So I want to see who I need to check in with on a monthly basis, who is in need of encouragement that I can reach out to. I want to see whose anniversaries are, and usually that's on my phone because, again, I need a reminder. What outings do we want to do as a family this week? I need to check the school calendar because I need to load up this with school events as well, tests, things like that, which I checked the month, and there's not really much going on. They're starting a new semester at school, so I didn't really see anything that stood out to me. And sometimes this is done on a week-by-week basis. The school calendar looks a certain way, and then as the weeks go on, different things start to get added. And so I'll come here and add those things. So if she has a test that I need to help her study for, or she has a recital, or anything like that is going to be added as it becomes available information, okay? But I do sit down on a monthly level and I'll go ahead and write in all of those things that I see, all right? I also want to see what extracurricular activities she's going to be doing for that week, study ideas for our family worship, any education type things, which some of this stuff, like the school calendar, you know, stuff, certain things are that, but I write that separately. Our family meeting, anything we need to talk about, home projects, we go to the library every week. What do you have any volunteer opportunities? The park, which I wrote that in here. There's a group of friends that go to the park every week. Tutoring, inbox tasks, and any like wacky little holidays, like, you know, Sister Day or something like that. I like to write those in as well. So this is kind of like the basis of how I kind of fill in this calendar, in addition to my regular monthly tasks that happen on a monthly basis. I also like to add little sticky notes for reminders of things that I want to do. Like I want to sign Addison up for tennis and gymnastics. So I went ahead and put a sticky note there so I can remind myself to do that. And so this is typically how my monthly calendar looks on a monthly basis. And this is just for my personal life. We're going to dig a little bit into business as well, because I want you to see everything that I do at a monthly level in terms of all of the things that I plan for. And so this is personal, but I also do something similar when it comes to work as well. So we'll talk through that also. Okay. All right. So this is the first week of November. So as you can see, I used some stickers, of course. These are stickers. Everything is from Fancy Plans Co. that you see in my planner all the time. I don't use any other brand's products because I have everything I need in my shop. So this is how my week looks. So of course I added just a splash of color, and this is everything from my monthly calendar. So I went ahead and looked at the week across, whatever week we're on. I'm gonna pull this information and I'm gonna put it here. Now I don't need to put any inbox tasks here. Well, I do put the inbox tasks here, but I'm not looking at the inbox to see, because I already know that, because I've already added it here or to the sidebar in terms of what I wanna do from those inbox tasks. All right, remember I pull it from there and then I put it on my monthly, and then I drag the monthly to the weekly. So it goes high level inbox tasks, at a glance, year at a glance, and then the monthly, and then the weekly. Everything trickles down like a funnel, Okay, so the first thing that I do here is I always put my top 3 focus. I look at my financial section, which I have here in my planner, to see what bills are due for that week. I put all of my habits here, and then any random to-do list items are going to be here, and typically this is where I'm going to put the inbox tasks that I pulled from that I wrote in my monthly. I transfer that to the week. Usually I'll do my meal plan, my wellness, my mood is tracked at the end of the week, my productivity is tracked at the end of the week, and I like to put something there for gratitude, which I didn't do, but I will do that. And then I start to fill in my week with all of those things from the month, and then that's pretty much it when it comes to my weekly. And then I also like to write in tennis matches and things like that. I put everything here. So the monthly and the weekly for that particular week are pretty much going to look the same. So this is all of that information is all of this. All right, it's not really going to be any different with the exception of these things at the top, like my cleaning schedule, theocratic habits, to-do list that you just saw, and all of this stuff. Otherwise, the calendar here is going to look pretty much identical to the monthly. All right, and then I went ahead and planned for the next week with my stickers, but I didn't write anything in. That's done on a weekly basis. I also like to pop in this insert here. I love this because this just breaks down anything that I have going on for the school, for Addison. And any appointments and things that she does outside of school are going to go here at the top, Monday through Sunday. And then these are all the things I want to make sure I don't forget to do on a weekly basis. Typically, this doesn't change. I may add to it. Just depends on what I have going on. Like, these are a couple of things that she wanted to do that she has an interest in. And so I want to make sure that I log that as well. I also keep sticky notes in here, and I keep this. You guys seen this from week to week. This is a whiteboard insert. You guys love these. These are a top seller in our shop. You write on these with a wet erase marker, which is what I recommend, or a Sharpie. And so I love this to just be able to reuse over and over again. All right, so this is typically how my week is going to look. I take this out and I move it into the next week so I can write on the other side of this. All right, so that's all that I do in terms of my personal planning from the funnel that we just talked about, and then that's it. Then I just come here and I check things off as I'm completing them, use this for reference for everything that I need to do for that particular week. All right, now when it comes to my work schedule, I don't do anything high level. Okay, besides my monthly. So I don't have at a glance pages for this. I don't feel like there's a need to have that. All right, so this is typically how my month is going to look when it comes to my business and social media. I sometimes will come here and fill in every single YouTube video that I want to do. I use Notion, if you guys don't know, to plan out all of my content. All of my businesses have their own separate Notion but profile, so that way I can fill in things on the go as I have ideas and things like that. I can just put it all in Notion, and then I take what I put in Notion and I put it on this calendar, and this is all of my YouTube videos that I'm filming for the week, and then any standard things that I do for Fancy Plans Co. So all of these little things on the green highlight don't change from week to week. I just need to write them in every single week. So like bulk filming on Sundays, B-roll, bulk filming on Sundays, new releases on Monday, thumbnail bulk on Monday, digital subscribers on Tuesday, blog posts on Wednesdays, emails on Thursdays, go live on Fridays. That's is standard week by week. Now, ideally in a perfect world, I would love to film and upload to YouTube every single day. And there's been times that I've done that in the past, but right now I'm trying to just at least get 3 a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm trying to go live on Friday. Y'all know sometimes, life just lives. I do what I can, okay? And so when I'm feeling the spirit, I'm feeling super inspired, then yeah, you may see a video from me every single day. Otherwise, whenever I can get the content out is when I can get the content out, okay? And so this is typically only for that, long form content and standard things to do for the shop. And this right here on the side is that standard to-do list. So all these things in green is this right here. I also like to write in random things that I'm working on, projects, like I'm working on a coach planner for my friend, and then the 2026 box is coming soon, so I wanted to write that here as well. I have a standard film schedule that I'd like to go with. I just keep writing it in every single week, and we'll see if we can do some bulk long form content. I find that when I write things in, it's more likely I'm going to do it. If I don't write this in, I'm not even going to think about it. And I would like to do bulk filming because it just helps me to be able to get content out faster, and it just streamlines the process. Okay, and then this is how my week looks. Now we'll talk about all these inserts, but let me just pull them out real quick because there's a lot going on. When it comes to my businesses, it's a lot. But let me just show you how the spread looks. It's super duper gorgeous, right? Don't you love the hearts on the side? And so this is kind of how a typical week would look for me. So I use the subject style layout. So I have all my different businesses here. All right. And then I go ahead and write in everything I want to do. And so on a Monday, when I sit down to figure out what I'm going to do, I'm literally just looking at this line here. Tuesday, I'm looking at this line here. And then I'm looking at the focus section. So when I'm working on Fancy Plans Co., I'm going to sit in a block of time and I'm just going to work on these things. When I'm working on this business, I'm going to sit and I'm going to do all of these things at one time. And that's just what works for me. Same thing for this. I'm doing all of that at once instead of being all over the place. So I'm looking down and then I'm going by these little sections here. And that really just helps me to stay focused on what I need to do for that particular business and not be all over the place, because I can be squirrel. I totally can be squirrel. Okay, so this is how a typical week would look for me. So sometimes I'll come and I'll plan it all out in terms of my highlighter for the whole entire month, as you can see. And this just helps me. So now I know all I have to do is just literally come here and write everything in. And I don't have to worry about any highlighter situation. Okay, so that's my monthly here. And then this is how my weekly looks, only for business and social media. All right, there's a couple of other things that I pop in my week. I am on a mission to create, so I like to pop in this right here. It's a monthly calendar, if you will. So it's got all of the different days of the week, and then I can come in and I can write in as I'm creating what I created on Monday. What did I create on Tuesday? I'm going to write that in after the fact. So this is just going to be for what I'm creating. Inserts, stickers, whatever it is. All right. This was already an ongoing thing that I had of things I wanted to create. So I didn't want to get rid of this because there's still some things on here that I want to create. And I can use this page for ideas and write them here. But eventually I want to check all of this off and get rid of this. On the backhand side, this was just some daily video ideas that I was considering doing when it came to At Home with Keita. I like having this here. It just gives me an idea of what I can post. All right, then I also have a to order. Love this insert, fairly new to the shop because we run out of product from time to time. So I need to be able to order whatever that product is. So I like to write it in and then check it off after I order it. So this insert is going to last me a while because it's got several slots. And it just makes sure that I don't forget anything. So when I'm downstairs fulfilling orders, then I see that we need something, then I can come to this insert here and just go ahead and write it in. And then I can order it when I have time. All right, I also love these task batching inserts. So I just keep that popped in here, but I don't write in this every single week. This is a part of my monthly process, if you will, because I like to see what I can batch. But I don't, I just rotate this or transfer this from week to week. And again, it just gives me some ideas on the different things that I can bulk at once, all right? And then I also have this task batching, which I do write in every single week. And this gives me an idea of all of the videos that I've batched. So I've got a ton of short form. I've done all of these videos here. So this gives me my little content bank. So that way I can say, hey, I have all of this stuff and I know what I have in reserve and I can use this to figure out, what type of content I want to post. And then I'll have this video as well. This is a monthly plan with me. I'm hoping to be able to get a couple more videos out for the week so I can already have that done and I'll write that here. And then the next week will be a whole new content bank. All right, then I have my notes, y'all. My husband and I started a new business doing AI marketing, and it's a lot to learn. So I'm using these inserts here to be able to take notes. And so that's what I started to do here. So I'm gonna just keep transferring this from week to week, and then I have a learning notebook you guys know that I have. So I'll pull these out and I'll put them in that learning notebook. But for now I wanna keep them in here because it's so early in the process and I like to use this to refer to. And y'all, I have to be honest, I don't wanna carry around a bunch of planners. I will literally want one planner. Got my notes in here that I can write my notes in, and then I'll transfer them out when I don't need them anymore, or when it gets too full, too bulky, I can transition or I can add new pages in here and remove the old pages. So that's what I keep popped in my week. All right, so that's how I plan for my business and social media. So there's a couple other things that I plan for as well. All right, so I'll take you through those sections. And that is really my face section. Now, y'all know I meal plan, but when I meal plan, it's typically gonna go on the inserts I showed you earlier. Because it's all in one, I can just literally write my meal plan here. All right, now I do have a meal planning section, so sometimes when I wanna get detailed with it, then I will go into that section to do a full meal plan. All right, so this is my November in my ministry planner. I just use monthly inserts, so I keep it very simple. And this is where I come to write in the schedule of all of the things that I want to do spiritually. I also keep this popped in, still going through this. And then I write the daily text in every single day. All right, so we've already got the first uploaded. And then these are my goals for the month, and then any events that we have going on, and then what's upcoming. All right, so that's what I use to plan out anything spiritual. And when it comes to what I'm actually pulling from here to put on my regular calendar, it's only this schedule here. And you'll see that every single day here at the top. Not on my monthly, on my weekly. So all of these things are pulled from that. And it doesn't change from week to week. I just rewrite it every single week. That's all of my personal study and things like that. So that's really all I do when it comes to my theocratic stuff. And it's just the monthly pages here. Okay, so again, faith planning, business planning. I don't do too much with financial planning, y'all, right now. Eventually, I hope to get back into it. I told you guys that's typically just from my own personal income anyways, not for our family income. And then I also do refer to my goals section, you guys, to see what goals I have. I use the life area goals, which I absolutely love. So I do come here to see what goals I have for the month to make sure that I'm adding those to my calendar as well. And other than that, that's how I plan my month out. Very simple, very streamlined, what works for me. And this is how I stay on top of everything that I need to do for the month and for the week. So when, you know, typically it's going to be the Sunday before the week starts. That's when I'll come in and I'll fill in my month. And if, you know, typically I have time to go ahead and do that first week as well. Sometimes I'll do this early as well. But if I'm doing it super early, I'm just doing the month. But if it's coming really, really close to the week coming up, I'll go ahead and just do the week too. And if I'm feeling really extra inspired, then I'll go ahead and at least decorate another week in my planner. But when it comes to work, I'm gonna do the monthly, and then I'm gonna go ahead and highlight everything out, so that way I already have it ready for me, and that just makes the process easier. Then I could just come in week by week and write in all of my plans. All right, so that's how I plan my month. This planner is awesome. I love it. I feel like I have so much planner peace right now. I'm able to get everything done I need to get done, and we give ourselves grace for the rest, okay? So that's it in a nutshell. I definitely wanted to show you guys my high level of how I plan my month and how I stay on top of all of my tasks and kind of how the month feeds into the weeks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got lots of inspiration. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing and give me a like on this video, so that way I know you guys love this sort of content. And I will be back sometime this week with another video. Hopefully you'll join me, in which case I'll see you then.